I'll be totally honest and say I have never ziplined before, and I was a bit nervous to try the Jurassic Valley Zipline Tour at Kualoa Ranch. In today's video, we're going to show you what this tour at Kualoa Ranch is like and whether or not we felt it was worth the money. Kualoa Ranch is a private nature reserve as well as a working cattle ranch stretching from the mountains to the oceans on the eastern side of Oahu. It is just 24 miles or 39 kilometers from Waikiki. Let me start off by telling you that after zipline number 1, the nerves were gone and I was totally hooked. But we will back up for a moment and go through what the zipline tour is and what its requirements and costs are. For this video, we're going to show you footage of the ranch, traveling to base camp, and the ziplines, so you can watch the footage while we tell you the things we think you need to know about this Kualoa Ranch tour. The zipline tour consists of 7 tandem ziplines, 2 suspension bridges, and 5 short hiking trails. The suspension bridges are small and you're clipped to the safety cable, so no need to worry about those. The hikes take no more than 5 minutes, so I guess it's technically a hike, but sorta not really. The ziplines are all tandem, so you can zip 2 at a time, which is really fun. The ziplines range from about 200 feet or 61 meters all the way up to a quarter mile or 400-ish meters. You need to book this tour online. It does not sell out quite as quickly as the UTV tour, but it's definitely something you want to plan and book at least 30 days in advance of arriving on Oahu. The only thing this tour is really canceled for is high winds. You don't want it so windy that you have trouble reaching the end of the zipline. It was borderline high winds on the day that we zipped, but it was not canceled, although it was windy enough that some of the lighter people in our group did need a helping hand to reach the end of the longest zipline. Don't worry though, if you do get stuck, you're perfectly safe, and it is more of a problem for the tour operators as they will need to climb along the line above you and pull you in. I would assume that gets very tiring on a windy day. The zipline tour starts with check-in. You're asked to arrive 45 minutes before your start time so you can go through the paperwork and get ready to go. Do not forget to account for Honolulu traffic. It is horrendous. However long your GPS tells you, double it just in case. At check-in, you must sign the liability waiver, of course, and anyone under the age of 18 must be accompanied by an adult or guardian. You have to wear closed-toed shoes, and if you forget and show up in flip-flops, then you can rent a pair of shoes for your tour. Not the most ideal situation, but don't panic if you forget. The tour is given a 3-hour time slot, although you're really only zipping for between an hour and an hour and a half. The rest of the time is travel time to and from base camp, as well as a safety briefing and instructions. Height requirements are 4'8" to 6'9" or 1.4 meters to 2.05 meters. Waist size can be between 22 inches and 50 inches, or 55 centimeters to 127 centimeters. Upper thigh size can be between 18 inches and 28 inches, or 45 centimeters and 71 centimeters, and weight can be between 70 pounds and 280 pounds, or 32 kilos to 127 kilos. They do weigh you when you check in, but please don't worry. It's private, it's very unobtrusive, and no one is announcing any numbers to anyone else in the group. Just check yourself in advance to make sure you're within these limits and you will be good to go. If you have any medical conditions or you are pregnant, then you should of course consult your doctor about whether or not this is safe for you. You start the tour with an open-air safari-style ride into the Ka'aawa Valley to the zipline base camp. This ride takes between 20 and 30 minutes. Along the way, your driver will point out facts about the ranch and the things that they are farming and growing there, as well as many of the different movie and TV show sites. It is a great start to the tour and almost feels like a 2-in-1 because our driver gave us a ton of detail and information as we drove along, and he stopped to explain the different things we were seeing along our way to base camp. When you arrive at base camp, there are washrooms there, and these are the only ones on this tour unless you want to use a tree somewhere. There are free lockers to store your belongings at base camp. And you're allowed to bring anything you want on your zipline tour, but if you drop it, it's gone. So think carefully about whether or not you will actually need it. There are water stations at several zipline platforms, so you really don't need to bring your own water either. The guides will help fit you into your harness and show you how things work. There is really not much to worry about, as the guides do all of the clipping and unclipping of everything, so as long as you can stand still and put your hands out of the way, then you're pretty much good to go. Braking on these zip lines is automatic, so there is no need to worry about a handbrake. You can relax and take in all the beautiful scenery around you. Each zipline is named after a culturally significant part of the valley, mostly plants native to the valley, and the tour guides give you a brief description of what the nameplates mean and why it's significant. Our guides were friendly, personable, and were engaging to everyone in our group. They focused on safety, but they also added to our experience with their knowledge and their humor. Don't worry too much about your age to try this zipline. When speaking to our guides, they have taken kids all the way up to adults in their 80s. If you are in good health and you fit the height and weight requirements, then I suggest giving this a try. There is a photo system located at Zip Base Camp, and it's of pictures taken of you during your adventure. The guides tell you where the cameras are, so you can strike a pose if you want to. All photos must be purchased at the base camp using a credit or debit card. At the time of this video, we paid $35 USD for the 6 photos that we chose, and they were emailed to us within a half a day of purchasing them. Please remember that once you leave base camp, you can no longer buy the photos. The price for the Kualoa Zipline Tour at the time of this video is about $175 for an adult. Kualoa Ranch also offers round-trip transportation from Waikiki that you can add onto your ticket if you need it. Be careful who you book your zipline tour through. Some companies do not offer refunds if you need to cancel your reservation. If you book directly with Kualoa, then you can get a full refund if you cancel no less than 48 hours before your scheduled tour time or pickup date. All in all, even though the zipline tour is one of the more expensive ones that Kualoa Ranch offers, I highly recommend it, and I am so glad we chose to experience that tour for this trip to Oahu. If you want to see the landscape and the mountains, then I would first suggest doing the UTV tour. Then, if you want to go flying through those mountains, try the zipline. We loved the UTV tour, and I will link the video we made about the UTV tour at the end of this video. We hope to try the e-bikes or horseback riding and also visit Kualoa's secret beach for some paddleboarding next year, but there's so much to see and do at Kualoa Ranch that we will probably have to take a team vote to decide that one. That's it for today. We visited Disney's Aulani Resort, the Four Seasons Oahu, as well as the Marriott Ko'olina. So if you're trying to decide where to stay when visiting Oahu, stay tuned for those videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we will be back with more very soon.